So the war with Iran just took a major turn for the worse as the Ayatollah Khamenei was assassinated just a few days ago. The country of Iran and its council of experts have just voted in his replacement, and it is the guy I warned all of you about just a couple of days ago. It is his son, Mujtaba. Now, the reason why I warned you about him is because he is a 10 out of 10 on the hardline scale. Mujtaba is a guy who served in the Iraq-Iran war in the later days of that bloody conflict, so he is battle-hardened. He is also not a full theologian like his father was, and he is an absolute hardliner. He has very close and deep ties with the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and he believes that he is in the end times and that he was chosen for this situation to lead the Persians into conquering the entire Middle East. He believes that he will be able to defeat the United States and Israel, and the IRGC believes this as well, which is why they put the pressure on the Council of Experts to elect him as the Grand Ayatollah. Now, with that being said, it is guaranteed that he has a giant bullseye on his back, and he will have to stay in absolute seclusion and hiding in one of the bunkers, which Iran has probably thousands of, and it will be very difficult for the United States and Israel to get to him, as he must have learned from his father's execution that staying above ground is a certain destiny and recipe for death. Let's get into Mujtaba and what this means for the war moving forward. First, I want to talk a little bit about how Elizabeth Warren just came out and she said the following.
And here's what I can say. It is so much worse than you thought. You are right to be worried. Trump administration has no plan in Iran. This illegal war is based on lies, and it was launched without any imminent threat to our nation. Donald Trump still hasn't given a single clear reason for this war, and he seems to have no plan for how to end it either. Like a lot of you, I am really angry. I am angry at what Donald Trump is doing, and I feel grief for those already killed in this unnecessary conflict. And I will keep doing everything I can to fight to end this war.
Well, I mean, it sounds good, but yeah, she has absolutely no power to end anything, and that's the sad part here. So this war is going to continue. Now, this is pretty pertinent here. Look at what Benjamin Netanyahu has to say here.
Mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. America should and does stand with the good. That's what President Trump is doing, and I deeply appreciate his support.
Netanyahu went on ABC News.
So, yeah. This was back in June 16th, and back then, he was calling for all-out war with Iran, as well as he stated that there will be absolutely no ceasefire or peace with Iran at all. It is absolute and utter destruction with Iran and nothing else. And now here we are, full-fledged war with Iran. But there's more.
Just a little of the administration's briefing to the Senate about the situation in Iran. And what you hear behind closed doors is essentially what we're hearing in the public domain, which is complete incoherence. No explanation for why Donald Trump broke his promise to the country when he said he wasn't going to drag us into additional wars, and constantly shifting narratives about what this is all about, right? Even today in the Oval Office, the president was spinning all sorts of rationales. On the one hand, they say it's to go after Iran's nuclear program. We know Iran has no nuclear weapons capability. After all, the president told the country that it had been decimated last year. So then they say, well, we're going to go after Iran's ballistic missiles. Well, Iran has no ballistic missiles that can get anywhere close to the United States.
Exactly.
Zero. And of course, then Donald Trump said he was going to liberate the people of Iran. But if you look at public reporting about the CIA's assessment, it says that they concluded that if you get rid of the Iranian leadership, you're very likely to get a much more, even more radical group in their place.
And that is exactly what has now happened. Listen to this statement right here.
Blown out of the water is pretty. So that means those ships are going to have to come in closer. And if they come in closer, then the odds of them getting blown out of the water is pretty high, I think. And if you hit an aircraft carrier, that's 5,000 people right there. And they don't, they're not filled with lifeboats. Let's assume that they were all survivors. They don't have enough ships to pick up the survivors.
That's the existential threat that the United States now has because it put itself in that. Iran had absolutely no plans of attacking the United States, but now it will. And we're going to get to the leader here in just a second, but I want to give James Fishback a response here.
Republican James Fishback said in part, "Don't let Washington tell you this is about human rights or our safety and security. It isn't. It's about Israel once again dragging us into their wars and expecting us to foot the bill in blood and money." Republican James Fishback said.
Exactly. Now, this guy claims to be a friend of the new current Grand Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei, and he has some pretty scary stuff to say about this. So, America, listen up.
دراسة هوضوية بس حتى الآن قيادات إيرانية يشوف العراق كعداء. المجتبى خامنئي يؤمن بأن نحن فعلا في مرحلة آخر الزمان.
أعرف مجتبى.
يعني عايش.
So he says that he believes that Mujtaba, the new Grand Ayatollah, believes that we are in the end times, according to Shia Islam. And remember that right now we have U.S. commanders saying that we are in the end times and encouraging U.S. soldiers to believe in that, and that they are fighting to bring out the apocalypse now. So we have two extremes, one in Iran and one in the United States, trying to create a religious holy war right now. That's what we are in.
عاشت معه فترة بسيطة يعني في دراسة هوضوية بس
هل هو أكثر تشددا من والده؟
يعني غير طبيعي.
He says he is a wacko, mind-boggling end-of-time theories he believes in.
أفكار آخر الزمانية عجيبة. المجتبى خامنئي يؤمن بأن نحن فعلا في مرحلة آخر الزمان. هاي نقص رأس الصدر. وبعدين دور الإيران
وماذا يحدث في آخر الزمان؟
في كتب بعض الكتب الشيعية موجودة بآخر.
This is Shiite books and literature at the end times.
الزمان الفرس
Persians specifically
يسيطر
would control the Mesopotamia.
بين النهرين يعني هذا القديم كان شرق الأوسط وهذا ويجي سيد الخراساني.
And he believes that he is a Shiite figure called Khorsami. Mujtaba believes he actually is Abu Muslim Khorsani. He says that even his father, Khamenei, didn't believe in everything that he preached. I don't know how he knows that, but he says that Mujtaba absolutely believes in his own rhetoric. So you now effectively have three men in control of the world. You have Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, and Mujtaba Khamenei, all three trying to usher in the apocalypse. This is absolutely insane. And understand that there is no way that China can allow Iran to fall into the hands of Israel and the United States, because if it does, the United States could now put a chokehold on their energy sources. Iran is a major 40 to 50% of their oil, major contributor to China's industrial complex. They don't operate if they don't have oil coming from Iran. So now China is going to have to get involved in this to make sure that their ally and their oil supplier does not fall. But the problem is you don't have Ayatollah Khamenei anymore. He was a moderate compared to his son. Now you have his son, who is an absolute end of the world, end of times mindset. You have Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who has Kaffir written on his arm in a tattoo, believing that he is God's holy sword. You have Donald Trump, who knows he's going to hell, so he's just going to burn the world down with him. And you have the devil himself in Benjamin Netanyahu, who is basically just doing everything he can, starting any war he can, to avoid elections in Israel and his criminal prosecution for his own corruption in his own country. That's the state of affairs of the world today. We are in extraordinarily dangerous times. And I just want to say this. There's more danger out there than just what's happening with these wars. Your information is probably at risk. And there's only really one good way of finding out if it is. And that is today's sponsor, Aura.com. Guys, I want you to go I want you to go into the description of this video and click on that link for Aura.com. And I want you to get your 14-day free trial. In that 14 days, they're going to search the dark web for you for free and compile a report to find out where you and your loved one's information is, and where it's being used and how it's being used and how you are at risk. It's completely free, 14-day free trial. Cancel if you don't want to use any of their options. No harm, no foul. But it is a special link for that 14-day free trial just for the Daily Rumble here. So please stay safe, stay free. Click the link down below.